Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save some money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could be hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
It's August 2016. Inside a courtroom in Detroit, Michigan, 25-year-old Maxwell Brack was waiting to hear his fate. Judge Cynthia Gray Hathaway told the packed courtroom that she had received a note from the jury saying they had reached a verdict after the 8-day trial. About 8 months earlier, in December 2015, 24-year-old Kajavia Globe's body had been discovered in a trash can outside a vacant home. It would be 2 months before her ex-boyfriend, Maxwell Brack, would be arrested and charged with her murder. But in a case with no official cause of death, no definitive murder weapon, and another suspect with a pretty convincing motive, it wouldn't necessarily be an open and shut case. Kajavia's friends and family members were likely holding their breath while the verdict was being read. Maxwell Brack, on the other hand, couldn't help but smile. This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 159. Court Junkie. Kajavia Globe was the oldest of 4 daughters. She was extremely close with her family, but especially close with her mother, LaShonda Globe.
I have 4 daughters, which Kajavia is the oldest. Wonderful girls, every last one of them. I had Kajavia at 16. She outpassed me. All of them had, actually. I'm a proud mother. Kajavia was the perfect big sister. They call her Sister Mama, because when I left, she took control. She was my everything.
In December 2015, Kajavia seemed to be happy in life. She was a phone rep and had just received a promotion. She had moved out of the family home and had been living with her boyfriend, a man named John Black, for the last 5 months. According to those who knew her, it appeared as though Kajavia's relationship was an improvement from her last one. When she was in high school, Kajavia had started dating Maxwell Brack, but they became more serious when she was in college. Her mother, LaShonda, did not approve of their relationship.
Was this a relationship that you approved of?
No.
Why?
It was a domestic violent relationship. Kajavia was outselling him. She was passing him. She was leaving him behind.
At around midnight on December 11th, 2015, one of Kajavia's younger sisters, Alondriana, got a phone call from Kajavia's boyfriend, John. He told her that Kajavia hadn't come home yet, which was very unlike her. Alondriana told him to try and look through Kajavia's cloud account, or cell phone account, to see if he could find any clues there. She hung up the phone with him and tried calling her sister herself. She wasn't picking up. Alondriana, their mom, and some other family members then drove over to where Kajavia and John lived. And what John told them next was concerning. He said he had looked through Kajavia's cloud account and saw a video she had taken from earlier that week. A video of herself having sex with her ex-boyfriend, Max. John was in tears. Alondriana was able to access Kajavia's cloud account too. She saw that one of the last numbers Kajavia had been in contact with was Max's.
And did you call him or did he call you?
I called him.
And why did you call him?
Because that was one of the last numbers in her call log.
And did you have a conversation with Mr. Brack?
Yes.
What did you ask him?
When was the last time he seen her or talked to her?
Okay. And this is referring to your sister
Kajavia, yes.
Did Mr. Brack answer your question?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said it was the following weekend when they went to Randazzo's.
So the weekend before you went missing?
Yes.
Did you have any further conversation with Mr. Brack in that phone call?
Yes.
And what was that?
I asked him, were they seeing each other? And he said no.
Although she was concerned about her sister's whereabouts, she felt like it was too early to call the police, so she waited. When Kajavia still hadn't turned up later that morning, Alondriana went to the police station to file a missing persons report. She then got flyers with Kajavia's face on them, along with a description of her car, a 2003 gold Impala. She and her family, friends, and neighbors went to pass them out. Later that day, they met up with Max. They gave him flyers to pass out too, but she learned he wasn't distributing them.
Okay, did you assign him an area to post the flyers?
Yes, we gave him Grand River and the Greenfield area to pass out the flyers.
And do you know what day you assigned Mr. Brack that area?
Saturday.
December 12th?
Yes, December 12th.
For any reason, did you go in that area, Grand River and Greenfield?
Yes, I circled back. We circled back around him.
Why?
Just a gut feeling.
And what did you find when you went to the Grand River and Greenfield area?
Nothing. I went inside the Little Caesars to ask, did anybody come in? Described him. Did he come in and say, could he post or anything like that? And it was no. I went inside the fingernail shop. No.
Did you
nothing.
see any of the missing person flyers posted in that area?
None.
3 days later, Kajavia's car was found in a large field, in an area filled with mostly vacant homes. Officer Stephen Dudzek and his partner looked inside the window and saw dry red smears that appeared to be blood in the center console cup holder. A purse was sitting in the front passenger seat. Investigators searched the area for Kajavia, with no luck. But just a short time later that day, a call came over the radio that a body had been found. Detroit police officer Eugene Fitzhugh arrived at a vacant home on Fielding Street. Already, a large crowd of onlookers, media trucks, and several police cars were there. Officer Fitzhugh went to the back of the boarded-up home and noticed a trash can, or dumpster, surrounded by leaves and branches.
Inside the dumpster was the body of a black female. She appeared to have on a red or orange type sweater. Around her neck was a red or orange, different color red or orange rope. And she appeared to be nude from the waist down. There was a pair of tan boots inside the dumpster. I couldn't tell if they were on her feet or just next to her feet.
Now, could you tell us if the black female was in head first or feet first?
Feet first.
Was there anything else in the bin?
I'm sorry?
Was there anything else in the bin?
You mean in the dumpster?
Yes.
Just the body. On top of the body, there was a plastic bag which appeared to contain some fiberfill material. On the outside of the lip of the dumpster, there was a small quantity of what appeared to be human hair.
Kajavia had been found. A red rope was around her neck, and she was naked from the waist down. The area where she was found was quite significant. She was in a trash can behind a vacant home. That was across the street from where Kajavia's ex-boyfriend, Maxwell Brack, was living. Investigators cordoned off the area and searched the home where Max lived. They also discovered another clue in the form of a haunting video from a local bank, taken the night Kajavia had gone missing. This is from Detroit's Channel 4 News.
Detroit police have released a picture of a suspect shown wearing a mask using Globe's ATM card late Friday at 7 Mile and Telegraph. Globe's car was found abandoned early Monday morning. Police say evidence found in her car shows a crime was committed, but they would not elaborate, choosing only to concentrate on the suspect.
It's a mask of a skeleton, basically. It's very unique, and we're hoping that someone in the public can identify or know someone who has that mask. This is a heinous crime, and we want to get this suspect in custody.
The man was wearing a skeleton mask as he used Kajavia's bank card at the drive-through ATM. He was driving Kajavia's car and withdrew $500 from her account. Meanwhile, Kajavia's autopsy didn't tell investigators much about how she had been killed. The medical examiner was unable to determine a cause of death, but nevertheless ruled the manner of death as a homicide. Kajavia's family made it known who they thought was the killer, Max Brack. And 2 months later, in February 2015, investigators showed that they agreed. Max was arrested and charged with Kajavia's murder. Going into trial, prosecutors didn't have some of the pieces of evidence you would normally see in a murder trial, including a cause of death. Assistant medical examiner Lakmin Sung said that other than a laceration on her eye and bruising to her labia, there were no other external or even internal injuries. But, he said, he was confident her death was a homicide.
First, there was objective suspicious nature of the death. In this case, the body was hidden from view. Second, there was no anatomic causes of death. Third, there were no toxicologic causes of death. Fourth, there was no reported environmental causes that would have resulted in death, such as toxic gases or extreme temperature changes. And then the last or fifth criteria is that there is no other reasonable cause of death.
Kajavia had been found naked from the waist down, and encircling her neck was a red rope, although he said he saw no evidence of strangulation. Her fingernails were broken, and her hair weave appeared to have been ripped. But although prosecutors didn't have an exact cause of death, they felt strongly that they could prove who killed her. Emily Shepard was involved in an on-again, off-again relationship with Max, and at the time of Kajavia's death, it was in the process of being off again. It was her house on Fielding Street where Max was staying. Emily told the court that on Monday, December 7th, 2015, 4 days prior to Kajavia's disappearance, a phone number that she didn't know sent her text messages and a video while she was at work. The video was of Kajavia and Max having sex in her living room, while Kajavia held the camera. Emily testified on direct examination that she and Max got into an argument and that she was mad and didn't want to go home later that night. The next day, when she did go home, she saw Max, but they didn't discuss the video again. She said she was still mad at him from before, and he moved the rest of his stuff out. She then told the court about what she did on Friday, the day Kajavia went missing. She said she was off work that day. That night, she left around 6 or 7 and got home in the early morning hours. At some point, she doesn't remember when, Max told her that Kajavia was missing and that he was going to go with her family to file a missing persons report.
And how'd you feel about that conversation?
Okay.
Did you want to participate in that conversation?
No.
Why not?
I just didn't feel, with the text messages and everything, I was just upset. So I didn't want to talk about him and none of his other females. Like, that wasn't something I wanted to engage in.
Sometime in the early morning hours of Saturday morning, he came back to the house and asked her to send him screenshots of the messages Kajavia had sent to her, of the video of the two of them having sex. He told her he needed to send the timestamp of it to Kajavia's family, since they thought the video was from the day Kajavia went missing. The day they took the video, 4 days prior, was the last time he had seen her, he said. She asked him if Kajavia, the girl in the video, was the girl who was missing, and he said yes. On Saturday, Emily said she worked all day. Then, on Sunday night, she came home early from work because she wasn't feeling well. She said she and Max had a couple drinks.
We ended up having some drinks. He had liquor, so I was drinking with him. And he was just saying, like, this not like her. She usually communicate with something is wrong.
Now, is this a conversation that you initiated or Mr. Brack initiated?
He initiated it.
And did you participate in that conversation?
I cut that conversation very short.
How'd you do that?
I asked him why he felt like he could talk to me about this, like after everything. Why would you talk to me about this?
The next day was Monday, December 14th, the day Kajavia's body was found. She said she recalled Max coming and going from the house that day.
I had fell asleep on the couch. He fell asleep on the floor. And that morning, I remember, like, my door slam if you don't got it shut. So that Monday, I just kept hearing the door slam. And I'm like, stop slamming the door. And he's like, well, I'm about to go. I was like, okay, lock the door behind you. And he left, and I went back to sleep.
Okay, do you recall, was this like one slam, two slams, or was it just
it was like
in
3 or 4, like in and out?
She said he wasn't there when the police arrived in the neighborhood and eventually found Kajavia in the trash can behind the vacant house. Later, Max called her.
I told him that the block was flooded. It was police. They was all across the street at the vacant house. And I think they found the body in the garbage can because I heard them wheel out a garbage can and the body van is at the house.
Okay, and what did Mr. Brack say?
I bet they did.
Was there any conversation after that?
He told me that he was going to pull up.
Did he ever show up?
No.
On cross, Emily explained that in October or November 2015, Max had been arrested. When he got out, he came to the house to start moving his stuff out, but he would still spend some nights at her place. She said at that time she didn't know he was seeing other women. She was asked about the video that was sent to her of Kajavia and Max having sex. She said she didn't find it disturbing. She found it funny. She felt like it was Max trying to get her attention. She said she and Max, quote, weren't dealing with each other for real, that Max was in the process of moving out, and that they were breaking up. She told the court on cross that Max appeared to be frantic about Kajavia going missing. He said it wasn't like her. When he came over in the middle of the night and asked her to send him the screenshots from her phone, she said he appeared to be concerned.
Anything give you any idea that Max knew of her whereabouts?
Not really. He just...
Nothing?
No. He was just very, like, frantic, like, nervous. Like, he just kept saying this isn't like her.
This isn't like her?
Right.
Where is she?
Right. Yes.
He didn't seem to know?
He didn't seem to know.
He didn't seem to be faking, did he?
He seemed concerned to me. At the time, I thought he was.
You thought he was concerned, legitimately concerned, about the whereabouts of an old friend of his, actually, Kajavia Globe, right?
Yes.
As for whether she ever met Kajavia, she said no. There was one instance in the summertime when Kajavia pulled up in front of their house in a silver Mercedes-Benz. Max ran out to the car to retrieve some socks or something. He told her it was a family member, but she later found out it was Kajavia. As far as her house was concerned, she was asked if it ever looked like any violence ever occurred there.
December 11th, December 12th, December 13th, December 14th, during that spread of time, like any violence occurred at your house?
Not at my house, no.
As far as you're concerned, there was no evidence of any violence occurring in your house between two people, is there?
No.
And certainly you weren't involved in any of that, anything.
No.
She said she gave the police permission to search her home. She had been watching the news, so she knew what was going on. She testified that she wasn't surprised that the police wanted to search her home because Max and Kajavia had had a relationship. After Kajavia's body was found, she said it was all over social media and that bad things were being said about Max. The last time she saw him was a couple weeks later. Tina Morell testified that she lived on Fielding Street in Detroit. She recounted to the jury something she saw on Sunday, December 13th, 2015. She saw someone pulling a trash can or dumpster in the early afternoon. Their neighborhood's trash pickup was always on Mondays.
11:30, something like that, early afternoon, morning.
Now, what particularly drew your attention to this person in this dumpster?
Because he was taking it out that early in the morning. Usually the dumpsters are put out in the evening.
She said the man walked over to a yellow vacant house down the street with the trash can. He took it to the back of the home and then emerged with it again and put it back on the curb. All the while he was talking on his phone. She noted that the home had been vacant for over a year.
When the defendant comes from behind the vacant house, does he have anything with him?
Anything with him?
Does he have a dumpster with him?
Yeah, when he pulled it back to the curb. Like I said, that was kind of strange, pull it back and forth like that.
She went back into her house and came back out a little bit later. She saw the man just standing there in front of the dumpster, in front of the vacant house. Later that day, she saw him again, walking past her house, going towards 7 Mile. She later picked Max out of a photo lineup that police showed her, and in court, she identified the man she saw as Max. Everett Stafford is a supervisor in the Advanced Disposal Department for the city of Detroit. He testified that on Monday, December 14th, one of his garbage collectors told him she had received a tip that there was a body in one of the trash cans in the Fielding area. He went over there and looked inside every trash can that was on the street. He didn't find any bodies, but he did see a man who was acting suspiciously.
You know, I saw a gentleman on the porch and in the area that my employer told me where the can was. I saw a gentleman on the porch and kind of seemed odd to me. And I wanted to go across and check on private property, but we can't do that. So I had to leave it alone.
Do you remember what kind of house this was where you saw the gentleman? What color it was?
The house was yellow.
Okay. Could you tell whether or not this was a vacant or an occupied house?
Not as I recall.
And what was this gentleman doing on the porch?
He was standing there with his hands in his pocket, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. And that was about the extent of it.
Did he say anything?
No.
And was he still out there as you were going through the cans?
Yes.
When investigators combed the scene, they discovered 2 trash bags in the trash can, along with Kajavia's body. One was on top of her, and the other was underneath. One of the Detroit police officers testified that there was some type of fiberfilm material in them. And when officers searched Emily's house where Max was staying, they found that same type of fiberfilm material in the basement. A DNA analyst testified that Max's DNA was found under Kajavia's fingernails, and his fingerprints were found on the passenger side of her car. And although Max told detectives he hadn't seen her on the day she went missing, a friend of his named Brandon told them he saw the two together at a car wash that day. Prosecutors also focused on cell phone records, showing the jury that the last calls made and received by Kajavia on her cell phone were from that area. Her phone interacted with a tower that is serviced by where Max was living on Fielding Street. Max's phone records corresponded to the area where Kajavia's car was discovered. A call from that location was made on Saturday, December 12th at 9 p.m. His phone then ceased to communicate with any tower when Kajavia's body was found. Now you've heard
That's in May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Kajavia Globe went missing sometime on Friday, December 11th, 2015. We don't have an exact time of death. We only know her boyfriend John said she never came home that night, and so he alerted her family. They filed a missing persons report on that Saturday, December 12th. On Sunday, the prosecution presented a witness who said she saw Max wheeling a trash can around by the yellow vacant house on Fielding Street, where Kajavia's body was later found. On Monday, December 14th, Kajavia's car, and then later her body, were found. The defense called Ashley Garrett to the stand. Ashley was also involved in a dating relationship with Max around the time Kajavia was killed. She testified that she knew he was seeing other people, including Kajavia. She said on Friday, December 11th, she talked to him as she was leaving school around noon. She told him she was on her way to where he was on Fielding Street. She went there and picked him up around 12:30. They then went to Sears, where she worked. They walked around the store until it was time for her to start her shift. He then left in her car. She said Max seemed normal that day and happy. Nothing seemed to be wrong. She next saw him when he picked her up around 9 p.m. Again, she said he was fine and happy. She testified that they had plans to go out for her friend's birthday that night, but that her friend, who was pregnant, canceled on them. She and Max still wanted to go out, so they went to J. Alexander's to eat and were there until about 9:30 or 10. After that, they went to the Victory Inn to stay the night. At some point during the night, Max got a phone call from Kajavia's mother.
What was Max's reaction to that conversation?
He was kind of shocked by what the mother was saying.
What did you understand was being said?
Objection, Your Honor.
It goes to the state of mind of this defendant and what his reaction
All right, but she's not talking to the... We can ask these questions. Was she talking on the telephone, or could she hear the conversation?
Sure.
Okay.
Were you talking on the telephone as well to who you thought was Kajavia's mother?
No.
But could you hear what was going on?
Yes, I could hear her screaming on the phone.
And what was she screaming on the phone?
That Nucy was missing.
Nucy was missing?
Yes.
Do you understand who Nucy was?
Yes.
That was Kajavia's nickname?
Yes.
What was Max's response, if you recall?
He was surprised. He seemed shocked.
How so? How did he behave?
He was like, I haven't seen her, basically. And that was basically it. He was just shocked and surprised.
Max left after that between 2 and 3 a.m. This is when Emily testified he came to the house on Fielding and asked her to send him those screenshots so he could give them to Kajavia's family. Max then returned to the hotel about an hour later and told Ashley more about his conversation with Kajavia's mom. She said he was distraught. They left later that morning around 8 or 9. She dropped him off at the house on Fielding and headed back to her house. She saw him again later that day on Saturday afternoon, around noon. She went to Fielding to pick him up so he could take her to work again, but she testified that she ended up going in and telling her work that she couldn't come in today. She felt that Max needed her by his side more, so she stayed with him. They drove around and then went to his cousin's house for a while. They were together for most of the day, she said. She could hear him at one point talking to his grandma on the phone. They also stopped at a police station so he could talk to a detective. She waited in the parking lot. When he came out, he appeared perfectly fine. They drove around some more and then went back to the Fielding house, where he linked up with someone to get flyers, she said. She left around 9 or 10 p.m. She saw him again on Sunday around 8 p.m. She said she left work early and met up with him. After Kajavia's body was found, she saw him on that Monday. They stayed in contact until he was finally arrested.
Do you ever say anything or do anything that indicated to you that he was involved in this?
No.
Anything?
Nothing.
On cross, the prosecutor asked if Max ever told her that he was never going to leave Kajavia alone.
When?
Did he ever tell you that?
Yes.
She said he told her that when they first started dating, about a year ago, around December 2014. Another woman who had an intimate relationship with Max around this same time was Miranda Turner. Miranda testified that she has known Max for about 12 years, that they met through a mutual friend and then developed an on-again, off-again relationship. She, too, said she knew he had relationships with other women, and that was part of the problem in their relationship. In December 2015, she said she would visit him at the house on Fielding. She knew of Emily Shepard, but didn't know her. She didn't know if Max was still seeing Kajavia. On December 11th, the day Kajavia was killed, she said she spoke with Max earlier in the day, around noon. Then they texted all day and talked again when she was on her break at work. He texted her later that night at 11 p.m. saying, "What's up?" but she was already sleeping. On Saturday, she talked to him on the phone.
Well, he told me that, have I been watching the news or been on Facebook? And that's when he told me she was missing.
How did he seem to you when he told you that?
When he told me, he seemed very sad.
Why do you say that? What was it about him that seemed that way?
Well, the tone of his voice was different, you know. You could tell he was sad about it.
She talked to him on Sunday, too.
What was the topic of conversation when you talked to him on Sunday?
We talked a little bit about her being missing. He, expressed to me that he was upset about it and that, that he hoped that she came home and stuff. And we were going to meet up that day with his cousin and her boyfriend, and we was going to go have dinner. And something happened with his cousin, so we ended up not meeting up.
On Monday, she and Max talked throughout the day. She saw him later that day between 3:30 and 4 p.m., and he again talked to her about Kajavia.
He was saying that they still haven't, or I believe he told me that they found her car, but they still haven't found her. When I met up with him, he had flyers where he had been passing out flyers and stuff.
Is there anything about his behavior that made you think he knew where she was?
No.
She saw him again the following week. She didn't really follow the social media around the case, but did see that Max was being accused by, quote, the whole world. She was asked if she ever had a domestic violence problem with him. She said no, not at all. On cross, Miranda said she had been over to the house on Fielding over 10 times, but that she had never met Emily. In fact, she didn't know that Max and Emily lived there together. He had told her that Emily had moved out. The prosecutor pointed out that on the 12th, even though she said he was concerned about Kajavia, he was still making plans with her. After Miranda's testimony, the defense called their final witness, Maxwell Brack. Maxwell Brack, now 25, wore a suit vest, tie, and glasses when he took the stand. He told the jury that he came from a broken home, that his mom died when he was 2, and that he was in and out of foster homes when he was young. At the age of 17, he lived on his own in his own house. He met Kajavia Globe in high school in computer class. They were 14. He said they became friends and then started dating in 9th grade, but things got more serious that following year. She helped him decorate his first house in Detroit, and he said he loved her, although they both dated other people as well. In 2011, when he was 18 or 19, he went to jail. Someone had robbed him, he said, and in the process, he pulled out a gun and shot them. The weapon wasn't registered to him, and he was charged with a felony firearm charge and spent 2 years in prison. He said Kajavia would come to see him every week. He told the court that Kajavia's mom never wanted them to date, that she didn't want her daughter to date someone from a broken home, but nevertheless, they continued dating. In the months leading up to Kajavia's death, he said Kajavia was living with her boyfriend John, but that they were still seeing each other from time to time. In November, Kajavia switched phones and got a new one under John's name. He said she told him she didn't want to contact him on that phone, so instead she would send him emails. But on November 27th, Thanksgiving morning, she sent him an email that said that they couldn't email anymore. She asked him for another number to call him on, saying she couldn't call him on his phone.
This is Kajavia saying to you, don't email me. What was the reason for that? Do you know?
Upon talking to her, she had told me that John had somehow saw the emails that we were emailing back and forth, which was, like when we were going to meet up type of deal. And so she said that he was mad about it or whatever, and that we couldn't email anymore because now he's looking at the emails.
So how did you stop emailing each other?
I stopped emailing her from that point on.
Did you still contact her?
Yeah, she just started straight up calling me because before then, like I said, if she did call me, it would be private. Like I'd never called her, before December. She always called me, always. Because I didn't even have a number after she got on the plan with John.
He was asked whether Kajavia would ever come to where he was staying on Fielding Street. He said yes. As for how often that would happen, he said it would be after she got off work on some days. She would get off around 3 and come over to his house. She would be gone by 6 because John would be home, and she didn't want to alert him that she was doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing. On Saturday, December 5th, he said they hung out and went shopping together. He told the court that they used to have problems in their relationship, but that ever since Kajavia started seeing John, their relationship improved a lot. That following Monday, December 7th, Kajavia came over after she got off work. He said they had sex, and at first, he wasn't aware that she was recording them on her phone. Afterwards, he took a shower and heard her talking to someone. When he got out, she threw her phone at him. It was Emily on the phone. He said while they had been having sex, Kajavia had recorded them and then had sent that video to Emily. She told him that she wanted to show Emily that she was still number one in his life. Max told the jury that Emily was very nonchalant about it, that it didn't bother her because of the type of relationship they had. He was asked if Kajavia doing that caused trouble between Kajavia and him.
No. All I really did as a result of that, her sending the video, I just told her she was childish. And it wouldn't change anything. Her sending Emily the video of us having sex wouldn't change anything because Emily already knew what's going on.
What was your relationship with Emily at that point?
Emily was a friend that I had met, and it got pretty heated pretty quick. And originally, we had like a small business-like type of arrangement, but then that kind of went out the window because we were in like a relationship, so to speak. It wasn't a fully like committed relationship. It was like an open relationship. where we both dealt with other people and we knew it and we didn't have a problem with it.
And that was going on during that time?
Yeah, throughout the whole time.
He said he had moved most of his stuff out of the house, but was still staying there. He told the court he talked to Kajavia on Tuesday and then saw her again on Wednesday. She told him she wanted to talk. She came over and they went shopping. He said she brought up Ashley and told him she wanted him to stop talking to her. He asked how she could be mad at anyone he talks to when she lives with her boyfriend. She told him that she has one boyfriend and he should only have one girlfriend, meaning Emily. He told her no, that Ashley was his friend and he was still going to talk to her. She then told him she was done and was going to take him home, and so she did.
It really wasn't, I wouldn't even characterize it as an argument. It was just basically she made a request that I refused, and as a result of that, she didn't want to go to the mini mart anymore. So I said, okay, that's cool. We did talk later on that night via text, and she seemed over it. And that was it as far as that go.
According to Max's testimony, that was the last time he saw her. That Friday, December 11th, he said he and Kajavia played phone tag in the morning. Then they talked around 10 or 11. He said it was a normal couple-minute conversation about what they were doing. He left the house on Fielding Street with Ashley around 11:30 or 12. He dropped her off at Sears, and while he was there, he said Kajavia called him and asked what he was doing throughout the day. He said he told her he had some stuff going on, and he asked her what she was doing. She told him she was going to the market and that she and John were getting ready to have some kids over for the weekend, and that John was going to clean out a room. He said he never saw her that day.
You know where she was?
She didn't tell me where she was. I automatically assumed she was at work, but I didn't know. She never told me, where she was. That never came up. It was kind of more like a, what you doing today type of deal. What do you have up for today?
After he talked to Kajavia, he said he stayed at Sears till about 2:15 or 2:30, and then he left in Ashley's car. He first went back home to Fielding Street. Emily was home. According to his phone records, he made numerous phone calls from there. He then met a guy for a business meeting right around the corner, he said, around 2:45 or 3 p.m. Then he went back to the house. He said he was there for about 45 minutes and then left again. Emily was still there when he left. He was asked if Kajavia was there, and he said no, that Kajavia and Emily would never be together in one place. He then left to meet up with one of his friends. They were supposed to meet in the parking lot at Church's Chicken so he could purchase some prescription cough syrup from her. He said he waited there, and while he waited, he called Emily and then called Kajavia.
I did talk to her.
When did you talk?
Briefly. It was literally about, I want to say 5 to 7 seconds. And when I talked to her, she called me Sean.
What'd that mean?
That's what I was getting at. When she called me Sean, which is her friend that John is cool with her having because he's gay. And
in other words, it wasn't the right time to talk?
Right. She kind of rushed me off the phone and said she would call me back. But it literally only lasted like 7 seconds.
Was she in any kind of trouble as far as
No, she didn't sound like it. She just sounded like she was trying to get off the phone.
You know where she was?
No.
And what did you do after that call?
This is while I was in the parking lot.
Okay.
While I made all these calls while I'm in the parking lot, just to all these different people, just because I was sitting there bored, waiting.
He said his friend was taking a long time, so he ended up leaving there around 5 p.m. and going to a marijuana dispensary with his medical marijuana card. He was supposed to meet his cousin there, but he never came, so he went back to Fielding Street to get ready to go to a birthday party with Ashley. He stayed there until 8:13, he said. That's when, according to his phone records, he called Ashley to tell her he was on his way.
Did you ever see or drive or have anything to do with Kajavia's Impala on that day?
No.
Did you ever see the Impala?
Not that day in particular. It was times where we switched cars. She drove my Charger all the time.
But you didn't see it or drive it on December 11th?
No.
He picked up Ashley and they went to J. Alexander to eat. He said Emily called during dinner and asked him for some weed, so he stopped back by the Fielding house to drop it off, but said she wasn't there. He and Ashley then checked into the Victory Inn to spend the night. He said normally they would have stayed on Fielding, but whenever Emily was off work, he said it wouldn't be good, so they opted to get a room instead. He got a call at 3:39 a.m. when he was asleep. He didn't answer it at first because he didn't know the number. That same number then called him 3 more times. He finally answered, and it was Kajavia's mom. She told him Kajavia didn't come home and asked if he had seen her. He said no.
At first, she didn't sound mad or anything. She just said, Max, is this Max? And I said, yeah. And she said, and I said, who is this? She said, Max, this is this Nusi mother. And she said, Nusi didn't come home. She said, Nusi didn't come home. Have you seen her? And I said, no, I didn't. I ain't seen her today. And she was like, oh, well, her exact words verbatim were, I know that y'all still fucking. And John seen the video. And so I asked her, what video is she talking about? Because there were several videos, and I didn't know.
You didn't know what video
she was talking about at that time, no. So she said that, well, John said she didn't come home, and he looked on the iCloud that's on the account with him, and he seen a video of us having sex. And she said that it was from Friday. She said that it was supposed to be dated from Friday on the iCloud.
Friday, you mean December 11th?
Right.
And
so
that wasn't the right date, right?
Right. I told her, it's no way. I haven't seen her today, so it's no video from us having sex today. I can guarantee you that. And she was saying, well, that's not what John's saying. Well, I'm saying, and I told her, well, if that's what John telling you, he lying. Because I haven't seen her today. We didn't have sex today.
She said she was going to go over to John's house, and he told her to let him know what happens. He said he figured John had seen their video and that Kajavia didn't go home and now her mom was calling him. He said he thought it was childish that her mom was calling him since they were grown adults. Eventually, she called him back about 30 minutes later. Kajavia's sister was on the line too. He said they called him a liar and said the video was from that day, not from last week. He said he then got up and went to go see Emily to ask if she still had the video that had been sent to her. He had her take a screenshot of the timestamp on it and send it to him. After he forwarded it, Kajavia's sister called him back and agreed that the video was from December 7th. She said Kajavia had tried to hide it and it was a mix-up. She told him that if he sees her to let them know. He then left the house on Fielding and went back to the hotel where Ashley was. He was asked if he ever went to a bank in Kajavia's car.
No.
You know anything about that incident with the money being taken from your account?
No, I never took anything from Kajavia. If anything, a lot of times Kajavia, I was a person that she could call on to help.
But you weren't there that day?
No.
And you didn't see Kajavia that day?
No.
Max was then asked about the vacant house down the street.
You ever go back there?
Never.
You ever take any of those dumpsters back there?
I never even been on the sidewalk on that side of the street. I never even walked over there. I've never even seen a car parked in front of that house. Never.
The next morning, that Saturday, Ashley went home and he went back to the Fielding house. Emily was there. She asked him why he had woken her up to send that timestamp on the video, and he explained it further. He said at this point he still didn't think Kajavia missing was anything serious. Ashley then came and picked him up again, and he dropped her off at work around 11. He then went to go meet his grandma, whom he had plans with. Saturday night, he stayed at the house with Emily. On Sunday morning, he said he got up and went downstairs to their basement to clean. He said he and Emily had a dog and that they had given the dog their old pillows, which he had then shredded and peed on. He said he filled up multiple trash bags and took them out to the trash cans outside. He explained that they often used their next-door neighbor's trash can too. It was a burnt-out house. So he put one can right in front of the house and one adjacent to it, across from it at the burnt-out house.
Was there a body in either of those bins?
No.
Did you have anything to do with Kajavia's body being in any of those any bins?
No.
He said Ashley came to pick him up around 11:30. They stopped to eat and went to Ashley's work when Kajavia's sister called him. She told him they were at a print shop nearby to print flyers and asked if he wanted to pass them out, and he said yes. He told her to let him know where to put them. She then told him a detective was trying to get a hold of him, and she gave him the detective's number. He called and was told to go down to the police station. He went there and spoke to a different detective. He said he then met up with Kajavia's family to pick up the flyers. Max told the jury that he never went to the trash can over by the vacant house, and that his phone records prove that he was out with Ashley and not at home at the time. On cross, the prosecutor asked why he never handed out any flyers. He said when he went to go pick them up, Kajavia's family was there videotaping him and questioning him. He got them, but never handed them out. The prosecutor then confronted him about inconsistencies in his statements. She asked why Kajavia's mom didn't like him, if it could be because he put his hands on her daughter. He said that wasn't true, that he never hit her. So she then played a clip from a recorded interview with Officer Michael Crosby, where Max can be heard describing a time when he, quote, slapped the shit out of her.
The question that I'm going to ask you, do you think she didn't approve of you because you put your hands on her daughter?
I did not put my hands on her. That video, that voice recall is what I was reciting back to someone what was being said about me. Exactly verbatim, reading what they said about me.
Okay,
that wasn't something that I said that I did.
Stop. So, in February, after you were taken into custody, you didn't have a conversation with this officer, Michael Crosby, where you said you slapped the shit out of Kajavia Globe? You didn't say that?
I never said I slapped.
Yeah, may I play
This people, this is...
May I play the clip of the video? Wait, just answer her question. Yes or no? Did you say that to Officer Michael Crosby after you were taken into custody?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you say that to Officer Michael Crosby after you were taken into custody that, yes, you slapped the shit out of her?
On what date?
On what date did you say it?
On what date did I say that I slapped the shit out of Kajavia?
February 5th, 2016.
No, I'm saying what date was this incident supposed to happen?
Answer my question. Did you say it?
The interview with Michael Crosby was 4 hours. I don't recall saying it, but like I said, I did say.
Sir, you've answered the question.
Max said that at first he didn't know Kajavia had recorded that video while having sex, but said she then took a second video, which he did know about. In it, he said, "Hi, Emily." He was asked if he gave Emily's number to Kajavia, and he said no. On December 14th, 2015, the day Kajavia's body was found, he said he left the Fielding house for the last time between 3:30 and 4 p.m. He believes Emily called him and told him there were a lot of police officers on the block. He said she was hysterical and told him there's got to be something going on, that there were police and tape. He said he drove through the area later that day around 6:30 p.m. The prosecutor pointed out that he had told Officer Crosby that he did not go back and that he had gone to a friend's house and watched what was happening on the news. He said no, that wasn't true. He was asked when he last spoke with Kajavia on December 11th. He said 4:53 p.m. On redirect, Max told the court that he had no reason to kill Kajavia. He loved her and definitely didn't want to see anything bad happen to her. In her closing arguments, the prosecutor called it telling that when Kajavia's body was found, Max's phone went dark. She said they also can't forget that his DNA was found underneath her fingernails. She said he had volunteered to pass out flyers but never did. He knows she's not missing, she said. She said it wasn't a coincidence that his neighbor saw him moving the trash can, or that Kajavia's body was ultimately discovered in a trash can behind that vacant house, or that the fiber fill in the dumpster matches the fiber fill in the house where he lived.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, is there really a question? And I submit to you, there is no question. The witnesses, the evidence, Kajavia herself has told you who did this. Maxwell Brack.
Max was charged with open murder, which in Michigan means that the jury can then decide whether that's first-degree murder or second-degree. The prosecutor told the jury that there was no weapon in this case, but that asphyxia, which is how they believe she died, takes a long time, and that the killer could have stopped at any time, but he didn't. She told the jury that there was premeditation and deliberation, and that Max should be found guilty of first-degree murder. He could not and would not let her go, she said. When the defense attorney gave his closing arguments, he told the jury that Max is innocent, that he did not kill Kajavia.
But we don't know. Listen to what we don't know. We don't know how she died. We don't know where she died. We don't know when she died. We don't know a lot of things.
He told the jury that Kajavia's family was very angry at Max for a long time, and that once they heard that her body was found across the street from where he was staying with Emily, it was case closed as far as they were concerned. He pointed out that there was no evidence of asphyxiation, but he said what's interesting is that when somebody very big and heavy lays on top of someone who is smaller, it makes their ability to breathe very difficult. And if you hold your hand over their mouth, that would be a kind of asphyxiation. He said it's not their job to prove it, but that Kajavia's boyfriend, John Black, was a very big man, 350 pounds. He pointed out that no one knows where Kajavia died, and that no one went to John's house to check it out. He said John has a motive, that he was aware of her comings and goings. He knew about Max, and he asked the jury to think about when they think John saw that video. He said investigators didn't look into that. He said they know force was applied to Kajavia's hair with someone's hands, but as far as he knows, Max's DNA wasn't found there. Emily Shepard's house was searched. John's was not, he said. He also pointed out that the neighbor who testified that she saw Max moving the trash can didn't know Max at the time. She saw somebody doing something with the trash can, but she didn't know who it was. He said Max's phone records corroborate where he said he was on the day Kajavia went missing. And even though Kajavia's phone shows she was in the area of the Fielding house that day, he said there are a lot of things in that area, including her parents. And who had her phone, he asked. No one saw Max with her phone. As for that ATM withdrawal, he said no one knows who that was.
Nobody's testified that that's Max Brack. That is somebody in a mask that nobody knows who it is. And there's no guesswork about it. This is not for guesswork. This is for real. You got to know. That piece of evidence has to count for something. And I'm guessing that's Max Brack.
As for Max's fingerprints in her car, he said Max had been in the car many times before, that it doesn't mean anything. And he pointed out that Max said they had sex that week. Sex leaves DNA, he said. In her rebuttal, the prosecutor scoffed at the idea that Max was innocent and that someone had set it up to look like he had done it.
Now, Mr. Weissman puts to you that Mr. Brack was set up. There is no evidence here that he was set up, but let's talk about that. Somebody wants to set him up. First of all, they have to know how important Kajavia is to him, and then they have to kill him. And then they have to bring her body over to Fielding, get one of Emily Shepard's dumpsters, put her body in that dumpster, all while not being seen, then break into 18532 Fielding, get some fiberfill along with dog hair in the basement, put it in one of Emily Shepard's trash bags, tie it up, put it in that dumpster, and then put it across the street at the vacant house, and then hope someone finds it. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. And then they have to put his DNA under her fingernails. That's one heck of a setup, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe he did it.
She said Max had already moved out of Emily's house, but that he kept going over there and even cleaned up on that Sunday. She said there was only one reason for that. He was keeping an eye on that dumpster. He wanted to see it get picked up. Once he saw Everett Stafford looking through the cans, he knew he couldn't remove it.
Ladies and gentlemen, he put her in a garbage bin with trash. He put her out to be picked up so that no one would ever know where she was or what happened to her. But the fates had other plans.
The jury deliberated and announced they had reached a verdict. They found Max guilty of second-degree murder. As I told you in the beginning of this episode, after the verdict was announced, Max smiled. At his sentencing, the judge addressed that smile. She sentenced him to 70 to 100 years in prison and told him, and the last 10 years of that sentence, that's for that smile. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case. Let me know by joining the conversation on Instagram at CourtJunkie, by tweeting me at CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing me at podcast@courtjunkie.com. If you'd like to hear these episodes without the ads and hear additional Court Junkie bonus episodes, check out my Patreon options at courtjunkie.com/support. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/courtjunkie. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.